We go live to Venezuela, where the Attorney General of the Bolivarian Republic, Tarek William Saab, is currently giving statements to the press. Let's see.
Una denuncia que se ha hecho pública particularmente en Colombia, y ya saben a qué me refiero.
And you know what I refer to.
Tiene que ver con
has to do with
un nuevo brutal y terrible
a new brutal and terrifying episode of a continuous drama that started in May of 2023 until today. It's been escalating in a serious degree because what we are going to show today as Public Ministry of Venezuela has to do with a request we have made formally to the prosecutor's office in Colombia, and we will have the communication afterwards, so that in this case, conspiracy of an attempt of assassination, of threats to the President of the Republic to look for, to boycott in the upcoming or during the electoral process on July the 28th, nothing more or less the presidential elections, to do away through terrorism the peace that so much we have endeavored to find. This is a new attempt to destabilize a terrorist effort. We have opened an investigation, formal investigation. We have started efforts to start a communique that was dated on July the 4th, issued by a group of paramilitary group of Colombia, in which it announced that they were contacted by groups of far-right groups from Venezuela. We are, and I would like to tell you today and yesterday, we have contacted, that I cannot reveal at this moment, in Colombia, where we have been supplying us information linked to this investigation that can lead us to concrete in the future hours, to know for certain the names of these people that have looked this group, terrorist group, as the Self-Defense Sierra, the group of paramilitary from Colombia, which at the same time, these people outside the law, because these people are all the time, they don't get tired to follow a neo-Nazi policy to destabilize the country. They have requested to work in the territory of Venezuela to destabilize the country in the process of the electoral process. In this statement, this irregular group informed that these people, at least two of them, they were contacted, they requested to attempt the infrastructure, the power infrastructure of Venezuela, to act against the President Nicolas Maduro, which at the same time is in the process of electoral process. To act in the case he is re-elected according to the communiqué, to infiltrate, to generate protests and generate chaos in the streets. At this request, this paramilitary group informed they will not accept to intervene in Venezuelan territory, and they offered as they were doing it to inform the authorities of Venezuela about all this situation. I would like to be more precise, to show a video, please. Let's see the video. July the 4th, 2024, the Self-Defense of the Sierra are allowed to inform the public opinion, national and international public opinion, that units in Guajira were contacted by far-right groups of Venezuela to destabilize the government of the Republic of Venezuela. The people were trying to do any request among them to attempt against the power electricity structure and also against the president and candidate Nicolas Maduro to act in case he is reelected, infiltrating in protests to generate chaos in the street, also to generate manifestations and demonstrations. I would like to say that our groups is not getting involved in this. Our organization is trying to keep the order in the Sierra Nevada, and we will be linked to the diplomatic authorities of Venezuela to give you all the details. We attentively, the Chief of Staff of the Sierra Group. It's good to signal for those that don't believe that this video, this denounce, as we denounced today as prosecutor's office today, it was known widely after it was published in Colombian media and international. The news was highlighted particularly by Radio Caracol, the agents EFE, the Spectator, and others. So those who are assassins with minds, as those who have things to happen, so afterwards to clap and applaud, and to say falsely and theatrically that allegedly this came out from Venezuelan media. No, sir, this was designed from a very delicate way. Colombian media, the Venezuelan justice is working now. Let's see the second communique that was issued on the 6th of July. 40 hours afterwards, the Self-Defense Conquerors of the Sierra issued a new statement addressed to the presidents Gustavo Petro and Nicolas Maduro, in which they demand to the president of Colombia to adopt the required measures to allow this group to dialogue directly with the authorities of Venezuela to supply them with information that they have about these far-right groups that have requested this to them. Please, let's see those images. Good afternoon. July the 6th, statement to the Mr. President of Colombia Republic, Gustavo Petro, and to Mr. President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro Moros. The Chief of Staff of the Self-Defense Conquerors of Sierra Nevada is addressing you, reaffirming our willingness of peace, and we're convinced that the construction of peace is the only way to achieve the desire of prosperity and tranquility that we are endowed to the community that we have with the territory under our protection. I would like that everybody knows firsthand the situation that was presented with the groups from the neighboring countries. They tried to contact us to alter the democratic system, and that's why we wanted to make public this communique to the public opinion about the 5th of July of 2024 through the X account. This is an event of big importance for both territories, which frontiers we share without any problem. We request, with respect, Mr. President Petro, to adopt all the required measures so that authorities of Venezuela can have a dialogue directly with this organization to provide them with the information, and so that an investigation start and the judicial acts are begun. We also knew the pronouncement of Mr. President Nicolas Maduro Moros President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, in respect with our information, and we have the obligation, the moral obligation, to give it to him for the objectives he considers necessary. We consider that this peace dialogue is originated in respect with the electoral process and democracy in Venezuela, so that they can build a loyalty and the violence is stopped for the benefit of the people and for the benefit of the neighboring countries, which also have the right to decide, sign the Self-Defense Conquerors of Sierra. So looking at the seriousness of this seriousness of this fact, this sad fact, which is part of a repetition that afterwards we will give you the chronology. And it's very good that the people knows this term. This was within what is considered as a hybrid war. Venezuela, without any doubt, has been the SH, the test land, the test ground, which is very important by the superpowers of the United States to execute in Venezuela. Each one of those, what they mean a hybrid war. This is part of what has been victim the Venezuelan nation, and we have defeated, particularly as of these 7 years, where we have a prosecutor's office with prestige, with credibility, which acts rapidly and which had not only outside of the country, we also have, as you see, this act within Venezuela. We also have done it outside of Venezuela as a response. The prosecutor's office are sending us from brother countries, from Europe, from Asia. And in the framework, I would like to show that already the prosecutor's office, this is a letter that we can see in the screen. The prosecutor's office have contacted with direct the prosecutor's office of Colombia, Doctora Luz Adriana Camargo Garcin, prosecutor's office, prosecutor of Colombia. I have sent her 8th of July the statement. You can see that on the screen that says, please receive our greetings extensive to your team in the exercise of your work. I address you so that provide you with information that the Venezuelan had knew through a paramilitary group, Self-Defense Conquerors of the Sierra. They were allegedly contacted by far-right groups of Venezuela to commit a crime of magnitude of assassination of the President of the Republic, Nicolas Maduro Moros. In relation to this, the prosecutor's office requests your valuable cooperation to allow the participation of this institution in the investigation that can be carried out in Colombian territory, and also to interview alleged witnesses of this act. So that's why we request coordinate the necessary mechanism in cooperation, in crime coordination, that allow this realization of this act in order to, so that the responsible of this act were indicted by the justice in Venezuela. I reiterate our disposition to work together within the cooperation, the international cooperation, and to contribute with the implementation of the objectives of the state, to look for the human rights in our countries. Tarek William Saab, Attorney General of the Republic. Obviously, this letter is already in the hands of the prosecutor's office in Colombia. They also have not only the knowledge, but also the direct contact with myself to start to act in a very strong and decisive way against these criminals. Today, I've also made contact with a link that is in the Colombian territory, who has informed us, okay, see this detail that is worth of knowing. 2 months ago in La Guajira, Colombian Guajira, they contacted this group, paramilitary group. These subjects, these subversive subjects outside the law, qualified as paramilitary group in Colombia of far right, they sent a first emissary that identified himself as a member of the opposition of the Venezuela government and contacted known leaders of this sector. Afterwards, 3 meetings were made in a restaurant. This was communicated to me, this emissary that is in Colombia. 3 people were attended these meetings, 2 white and 1 mulatto, without beard and about a meter, 70 centimeters height. All they were identified as participants or party of the far right of Venezuela that is inside the country and that is now in electoral campaign with this sector of the far right, opposition far right, and they were asked, this criminal group, to attempt against Nicolas Maduro. In one of those act in the streets or to act against the power, the electricity power of the Surya state, especially in these last days of campaigns, and also to try to leave the majority of the country without electricity. Also, this is today. What I'm revealing now was today, the same as the letter that I have mentioned that put us in a direct contact with the prosecutor's office in Colombia to lead and to go to the depth of this situation. Let's see, they say that in case that the opposition loses the election, they were asked to infiltrate, to cause violence, because they will ignore the results. Like 3 weeks ago, we are 3 weeks away for this process to end, and they are talking about ignoring the results and to start doing actions, violent actions. They showed maps. This emissary told me, showing the infrastructure that they would like to attack, and there are photos of the Miraflores Palace. They were offered political asylum when they took power. Those alleged that they were going to be with them in these actions. No salary was concreted in this. So what I'm telling you now, according the same as the direct communication that I have with the prosecutor's office in Colombia, happened today, Monday. And that is why it is very delicate, the repeated of this sector that is repeating in the personal way. I have informed 8 cases of conspiracy to solve the violence in the country that includes an attempt of magnicide against Nicolas Maduro's Moros. In January, one of the most dangerous was foiled, which was known as the white bracelet. Also, another conspiracy were foiled. For example, the case high conspiracy with 11 people that were arrested for infiltrate military information, classified information. The case known as Coahualito espionage for delivering confidential information in relation to the security of the presidential. Also the case known as Fortunato espionage. One man was arrested to try to enter irregularly in the country to look for information about pilots and military personnel that would lead for an intelligence agency abroad. And of course, the most important, the one that I know, that I denominated the assassin of Viñeta, in which the security president was captured, was there's 5 arrested in this case. I would like to add what happened at the beginning in Balinas. This allowed us to know the new planification, the new plan, the escalation of demonstration to force to avail somebody that are outside the law to ask for invasion, military invasion, to ally himself, in this case demanding a brother relation with the party that has been responsible for the killing of Palestine in Gaza, and also he has done a lot of damage things to the people of Venezuela. These arrest people were informed us about the plan, that this lady was asking them to escalate in various situations and places in Venezuela, in Táchira, and also to create a chaos in January, February, and March. I would like also to inform that afterwards to this arrest, there was another arrest that took place of a subject that promoted in social media and in WhatsApp groups, and also instigated the assassination of the President of the Republic while he was in the pre-electoral campaign in the state of Monarcas. For much less than this, in the United States, they tried to make threats against Joe Biden and against that who said and tweeted death to Obama. He was condemned to 16 years in jail. Sometimes some people, they say that it was a simple tweet. No, this was a threat, a direct threat against the highest authority of the nation. And that's why it makes part of the crimes that have been mentioning. And fortunately, the positive things that I would like to highlight has been foiled, has been defeated of an absolute way. And we cannot ignore this new situation in which they want, while the campaign is advancing, they want to create chaos. Even they are saying that they will ignore, the results looking for this paramilitary staff. I have said there's a publication. I would invite you to see The War of the Future, the arrival of the hybrid conflict. This is an article written by James Mathis and Frank Hoffman, which talks about the hybrid war. The hybrid war against Venezuela is a war is deployed simultaneously in different areas inside, also in the outside of the country, to impact the public opinion, the international public opinion. It encircle all the coordinated attentions to influence the decision making in all states, doing and resorting to different media. The hybrid war look for results to inflict and to in the society as through coercion. Is a tactic that has been effective and is more simple, according to these minds, to apply for the countries that are attacking, because it involves much less investment than the conventional war. It is resources like blockade are used, the shortages, the sabotage of infrastructure, the cyber attack, the psychological attack based on media, the crime, or also the paramilitarism. For terrorist action, for coordinated actions, that with countries to provoke to isolate the country. The objective is also to confound and to mislead the population, and also to sow the hatred against the government officials. Every day the government of Venezuela is receiving messages through the media which are elaborated by laboratories. You have to be very clear in this, organized by outside of the country to create problems and to create problems inside the country. This type of war is more terrible. For me, it's more terrible than a conventional war. In a conventional war, the opponent is identified is the one that it attacks. Okay, you put yourself with bombs. But in the hybrid war, the enemy is diffused, is camouflaged behind the wrongly called associations, international association, communication media, enterprises, social media, cultural sectors, and even the spectacles, the artists. In the case of Venezuela, all those strategies have been tested since 1999 onwards, but particularly it was strengthened after the death of President Chavez in 2013. But what is the extraordinary, what is the inédit, what is the new that the Venezuelan people has resisted, has understood the dimension of his attack against the country and its authorities, and has been able to overcome and defeat those who have tried to develop this war and those who have sponsored them. Each one of these strategies simultaneously, sometimes others in sequence, all in escalating form, seem to be simultaneous without and within the country at the same time that they are attacking outside, at the same time that things are happening inside the country, also through the still plunder of assets, and also to try to block us from buying vaccines and for the pandemic. And Venezuela was one of the countries with the least rate of death in the Western Hemisphere, because it had the opportunity, together with Russia, China, and Cuba, to have these vaccines and to be able to save millions of Venezuelans. I don't want to ask for any clemency, because this new plan has been revealed. We are repeating, in direct contact with the prosecutor's office in Colombia. We have contact with one person that is revealing. Let's see the information that I have revealed to you. And also, I hope that the prosecutor's office in Colombia allow that our officials go to Colombia to develop in a joint way, in the framework of international cooperation, to clarify this sad action that has the rejection of all the Venezuela. Everything has been revealed. Not only it's revealed, but I'll say it and I will repeat it. I will say it again. This is a far right that we know it. Personally, I saw it on April the 12th, when coup organisms and a group of people that were claiming publicly to, at the same time, they managed to kill dozens of Venezuelans. They tried the magnicide against Maduro. I cannot forget that. We cannot forget that. It's a sector that has escalated in the hatred. A very unfortunate action was the death of one person linked to the Venezuelan government, as has happened with Lucenia. The Christians, the religious, the Bible, the prophetics, whatever has a religion that is, they actually applaud what happened. It also happened with the accident of William Lara, the governor, comrade of us. They made a party, they threw a party when that accident, with a death, unfortunate death of Hugo Chavez. That was this sector of far right, national war. They wanted to throw a party. And recently, if you allowed me, an accident of a President Desi Rodriguez, the vice president, exercising her gigantic work that she was doing, moving to a place where there was an unfortunate event, natural event. As we know, when she was there, she had an accident. We saw that these crazy people, the hatred people, instead of saying, some of them were saying, like a baseball narrator said, we will have to, they said that we will have to declare, we will have to sing, okay, the family of this person is linked in terrorist act. They have been involved in criminal acts like this, and others were sought by the justice of Venezuela to claim and to ask for insurrection. So the important about this, and I end, that the people has identified clearly with names and surnames. They have known it. They know, they have seen the way they have plotted the attempt of magnitude against the life of President Nicolas Maduro. And those who were there to join in that stage in 2018, they were happy about the invasion. They were happy about that to be happened. At the same time, to each defeat of this, the moral of the people of Venezuela grows, the civilian military unity also grows, and the solidarity grows. The justice organs of the Venezuelan will act without any doubt against those who attempt against. I have already informed about the number of arrests involved in these criminal acts, which are they also are rejected by unanimously by Venezuelan people. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
We were live to Venezuela, where the Attorney General of the Bolivarian Republic, Tarek William Saab, offers statements to the press regarding the new brutal destabilization attempts by the extreme right wing that was planning to boycott the upcoming presidential elections. During his intervention, the Attorney General assured that this is a new terrorist attempt that wanted to target the national energy system and attempt against the life of President and candidate Nicolas Maduro. This new destabilization attempt is currently under investigation to hold the terrorists accountable. This is all for the moment. More information in upcoming news briefs. Stay tuned with From the South.